Hello, welcome to the Daily Telegraph NRL Podcast. Adam Mobbs here with Phil Rothfield, Michael Carianis, someone who's not with us anymore, Sam Burgess, out of Souths.
Yeah, wow. Big yarn, eh? Big yarn. What a tumultuous week for Souths.
Well, if you were privy to their press conference yesterday, Buzz, it was business as usual. There was no big deal, and they were doing the right thing by Sammy by letting him go to concentrate on preparing for Warrington. And I don't know if you heard, they may have mentioned it once or twice, but his partner is due to give birth to a baby, is what was said yesterday, which made me laugh.
Hello, guys.
G'day, Mickey.
How are you, Mick?
I've got more of a contentious issue. The fact, Buzz, I thought you would have had it in your contract that we only sit in the good studio. We've been bumped.
Well,
We're in the tiny one. I thought you had more sway than this.
no, I don't know why we've been bumped. It's a bit ordinary being back here, isn't it?
Brought in.
I got a bigger issue.
And then Mobbsy's got a bigger issue.
I had bad traffic coming in today.
So did I.
And I'm normally a Ben Fordham man, but I thought I'm going to be in the car a long time. I'll just catch up on sport. So I was very rare appear. I switched to SEN.
Yep.
And there was a caller.
A text message.
A text message came on claiming he was a neighbour of yours.
Yep.
And you're in the nude doing live radio.
Incorrect.
Well, prove it.
Incorrect. Prove it? What do you want to you want to FaceTime?
Why would someone go to the trouble of texting in that you're in the friggin' nude?
So everything that everyone says about you, Buzz, on social and Twitter and the like is correct?
So what were you wearing?
Can you explain?
My pyjamas.
Is there any... Why would this just come out of thin air?
I don't know. People like to G up. I don't know. Firstly, it is freezing, right? It is very cold at the moment.
I'll give it that. You're not a cold weather man.
No, I'm a summer specialist, right? So there is no chance I'm getting about the back deck. And I go on the back deck sometimes to do radio if my wife and the baby are asleep. But Thursday morning, Bub was up, about to go to daycare. I'll take her to daycare on Thursday morning. So, no, I wasn't. I have to. I'm very time poor on a Thursday morning, so I was dressed ready to come to work.
I nearly drove off Grand Parade.
I had to go on Grand Parade.
I honestly did.
Bit excited, Buzz.
Oh, please.
What's your issue?
But I will say it was the best bit of radio I've heard on SEN for a long time.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Will you listen next week?
Right. No. I'll go back to Benny Fordham. Good show.
What, any dramas, Mobbsy?
No, well, there is, because we're in the crap studio and I bought a new shirt for the occasion and what did I get to see? That's my issue.
As soon as he walked in, I checked the brand, Van Heusen.
Yeah.
Just pass.
Just pass?
Yeah.
That works for you? That was all right?
Well, I'm Rod and Garn, MJ Bale, T. Lewin or whatever it is.
I'm glad I stayed up last night sticking that logo on the back there.
Line on. Oh, dear.
We're going to South, eh? South.
Well, can you imagine that a week out from a do-or-die finals clash, that the most tumultuous day in South season unfolds yesterday? This has been building for a little while. You've heard the rumours behind the scenes, Buzz, and it all came to a head on Wednesday. What do you make of all this?
I'm in two minds about it, Mick and Mobbsy. I'll tell you why. If South had been through the disaster that has been the last 10, 12 weeks and were training and were happy and were smiling and were...
Yeah.
I like the fact they're all shitty and they're all dirty. And I actually really... I think it's a sign that they actually care.
I get what you're trying to say, Buzz, but there's a difference between frustrations at performance and being a bit down because of performance and finger pointing. And there's no doubt there's been some finger pointing going on.
But haven't they just removed the finger pointer out of the joint?
But is Sam to blame for the way they've been playing? Or some of the stuff, some of his frustrations?
Why do you think he's going?
I think he's going because he doesn't rate the coach and doesn't rate the coach's methods.
But has he been undermining the coach?
I'm not sure if he's been undermining the coach, but I think his presence has probably been a detriment to Jason Demetrio.
Well, there you go.
No, Blake Solly told us yesterday that he's leaving because of his off-field workload, the preparation to become head coach of Warrington, and the numerous mentions of the impending arrival of his baby. They're the two major reasons.
The best thing that Sam has done for South is take that Warrington job because it enabled them to do this. If Sam didn't take that Warrington job, I have no idea how this would have played out. It would have been very interesting to see.
I think Souths have been so good to Sam Burgess over a long period of time, medically retired on 900 a year for the last 4 years, another 700 next year. Fit enough to go on SAS Australia, fit enough to actually win it against some really fit dudes. And I don't like what's been happening behind the scenes there. And Sam Burgess is an assistant coach, right?
Yeah.
And he needs to stay in his box.
Yeah, I get all that. I don't think Sam's angst or
Put it this way, Mick. When did he join him as assistant coach?
this year.
What
back
stage
end
of the year?
back end of heading into this season.
Was he there round one?
Yes.
Oh, was he? I thought he came mid-year.
I'm pretty sure he got appointed August last year, maybe, but it was it was officially appointed, but he would have started in the preseason, I'm assuming, Buzz. Yeah.
So he was happy what Demetrio was doing till the halfway mark. Now Demetrio can't coach for the set.
I don't. That's probably not fair enough. I'm sure what he was witnessing probably over summer and then into the season has been an ongoing issue for him. I don't think it's just turned in the last 3 or 4 weeks or last couple of months. I think it's
a remarkable turnaround, isn't it, Mick? The first 11 weeks they were top of the table. They were a minimum of what they were letting in about 14 points a game.
They look unstoppable.
The last 3 months they've been averaging 25 conceded a game. They're a totally different outfit.
And we all howled around the Broncos last year, how they capitulated and fell out of the top 8. If South don't make the 8, it is the greatest capitulation in modern time, because that side is far better than Brisbane of last year, right? The South Sydney side of this year is way better than Brisbane side of last year, and have much more big game experience and things that need to get the job done. So if they go from 1st to 9th or 10th, what a calamity of a season.
But this is the team we were talking about as the most settled roster heading into the season, because they'd lost Mark Nichols and a couple of fringe first graders.
I was big on that. Yeah,
I remember.
I was big on the fact that I thought South were going to... I thought they were going to start the year better than anyone, because I thought they had the most settled roster. I had them in my grand final. I didn't think they'd bounce they'd fade like this, but I was on them big time to start the year, because I just thought, you look at that squad and there was minimal change. Where you looked at Penrith squad and there was some big changes.
Yeah.
And
they were big with guys like Kickout coming out of that defensive line, and how you fill that, and it changes a lot, doesn't it?
There was a lot going on at Penrith where you go, okay, well, they're going to come back a little bit, and this could be South's year. But if the current players don't win at comp, they've missed a golden opportunity.
Yep. Well, it's just another team
that... It's funny we're talking about Sam and we're talking about this, the way Latrell played last week. The biggest blunder, it'll go down as one of the biggest recruitment blunders of all time, is letting Adam Reynolds go.
Yeah, and they keep doubling down on it, don't they?
Yeah,
with all that talk around Lockie Ilias and everything else. That was silly, wasn't it?
Absolute crap. That is the biggest blunder, I think, in my time. Mickey, are you running with me out there?
Yeah. It has been a really bad decision from South Sydney. I can get...
Who made that? Shane Richardson, Mark Ellison, Blake Solly, Wayne Bennett?
I don't think it's Wayne. I think you can cross Wayne out.
Wasn't Wayne coaching when he
probably
left?
Jason Demetrio would be... it was last year.
Right.
So it would have fallen under Jason's remit, along with the other guys that you mentioned there. It's definitely not Wayne's fault, but...
Reno was a good joint to have around a footy, good person to have around a footy club too.
Yeah.
Lockie just hasn't come up, We can't have a pile on the young halfback either, but I still think that's the main reason why they're struggling, because they don't have a half.
I think there's, Buzz, you look at the rest of the spine and they should be performing.
Yeah.
Like with or without Adam Reynolds, Cook, Walker, Mitchell, that's the issue. I agree with what Adam Reynolds, right?
When,
of course, right?
That you take a 4-tackle kick for a 40-20, it goes in a touch on the floor.
There's no... Adam Reynolds is streaks ahead of Lockie Ilias, right? If you throw Adam Reynolds back in that team...
You wrote the story, Demetrio, saying that he was going to be the best ever or something.
It doesn't mean it's my opinion.
No. We'll take some ownership.
Sorry for breaking yarns.
Yeah.
Sorry for giving you something to talk about, Buzz. But no, it's... There's no doubt Adam Reynolds would be a better fit in that South Sydney lineup, but you look at that squad, there's still That's a top 4 roster every day of the week. And you look at, post-mortems, which we will do it obviously at the end of the season, and you look at South, you look at the Roosters, you look at Parramatta, everyone had them in their top 8.
Yep.
Most of us had at least 2 in the top 4. And at least 2 of them aren't going to make the 8. You look at Canterbury, I don't think anyone had them in the 8, but it's been a disaster this year, Canterbury. So there's been some real failures this year, and they're 3 big Sydney clubs that...
Who were your 3 big Sydney clubs?
Well,
South, St George,
it was
Canterbury.
4. Well, you look at South, you look at Parramatta, you look at Canterbury, and then you've got the Roosters as well. The Dragons and the Tigers, I don't think anyone had expectations for them. I think we all had them in the bottom 2.
Failures.
Yeah, but we all had them.
Failures.
We all had them in the bottom 2. The Dragons and the Tigers.
Yeah. I had the Warriors down the back.
Well, I probably had them down there too, but not. But you look at the Dragons and the Tigers. Is there any surprise they sit bottom 2?
No.
For me, Canterbury's not a surprise where they finish. It's the way they've played, which has been disappointing.
I thought they'd be knocking on the door for the 8.
I had them 12th, maybe at best. Like but it's the way they've played. Yeah. Right, that's the issue for mine. And then you go, Parramatta. I think I had 8th, maybe 7th. I wasn't high on Parra this year, but the Roosters and South, I was big on both of them.
Can I just ask you about Canterbury? I watched that game last week, and 2 players that really stood out to me. Viliame Kikau worked his butt off for every minute he was out there. He tried his guts out. He defended well. He was dangerous in attack. Matt Burton, exceptionally disappointing. Let in a couple of tries. Effort areas didn't seem to be there. Do you think there's any water to the argument that he's at such a young age, on such a big wage, he's done everything already, he's won titles, he's played a bit of Origin. Could he be comfortable? Is he not? Where's the motivation?
I just don't know if he's a 6.
But does that put down to missing those tackles that were so
Look, you reckon
beaten?
Canterbury were not expect to do anything? Addo Burton, Reid Marnie, Billy Kikau, Luke Thompson, Tavita Pangai Jr. That is the ingredients of a good rugby league side.
I think
they do not have an environment there to... They don't have an environment there.
Is that on the coach or the head of football?
I don't know.
Oh, it's not a happy place out there at the moment.
Have you ever seen a player history turn down $750,000 and walk away? Why is Luke Thompson gone from being one of the great middle forward, to nothing?
Yeah, he's had lots of injuries.
Burton, mate, what about Addo Carsfall?
Yeah, Addo Carr's been horrific. He's been terrible.
So you're running with me now?
You
are.
I said they've had a bad year.
Yeah. You didn't. You said you didn't think they'd have a good year.
Do we have to go to the tape, Mobbsy? What did I say?
How's Reid Marnie go?
Hey, they're all playing like bastards.
Thank you.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying their place on the ladder doesn't concern me as much because I didn't have them anywhere near the 8. No. But it's the fact how bad they're playing, which is the concern. We needed to sit here and say, okay, Canterbury's on the up, and then next year they're going to make the 8.
Jackie Aho has had 6 games in Super League and retired.
He needed to freshen up.
Why my podcast is an investigation to South, and you've taken us to Belmore. What are you doing? Stick to the process, mate.
I just love...
You're as disjointed as the South back line.
I just know how much you love Gus.
Actually, it was me, but that's
probably that bloody shirt you got on. That's a home Canterbury jersey. That one. Have a look at
and you got the away one on.
This is Sharks. Van Hoosen.
Something we haven't touched on.
What you should do, and I'm going to quickly go there, next time you get a new shirt, get Cassie to put it through the washer machine and get rid of all the box creases, mate. Look at it, Mick.
Yeah,
if you wear a new shirt, do you put it through the machine?
Depends how quickly I want to wear it.
Yeah.
I didn't have time. It was just straight off. Iron straight on.
I can tell.
Listen, we've hit our 80% gibber rate for the day, so we need to get to some serious stuff.
We're about 95 at the moment. But anyway.
So interesting at the South presser, the everything's okay announcement yesterday that they had to say that John Morris was committed. He's there till the end of the season. You'll see him there for the next few weeks. A matter of hours later, the West Tigers release a statement.
That was so funny.
John Morris will be joining on a 4-year deal from next season.
Is that classic trolling from the Tigers or what? I found it, we all knew he was going there, right? We've been writing about it. We've been talking about it. But I did find it slightly amusing that of all days they announced it.
Can I just
Would
say...
that be him or would it be Morris's manager, Gav, or on the phone saying, quick, get it out there, we want to stabilise,
Can I just say... The
Before
West
his
Tigers...
reputation got damaged.
The West Tigers' two most recent big announcements of the Tim Sheens restructure and this have both been dropped on very good days for news cycles. The South Sydney drama and then on a Matilda's day. So,
But this is a positive one.
yeah.
I don't know. I found it funny. I found
unbelievable.
it slightly amusing from the Tigers. Like, good on you.
Do you reckon it was your man Pasco Fiasco? Or?
Do you reckon? Hang on. You just reminded me.
Right.
So on Saturday,
Yeah.
I've taken my seat on the sideline for the national
ABC,
broadcaster.
Yep.
And I see in the far corner a banner. I'm at the Tigers-Dolphins game. What was it? Like, get rid of Pasco Fiasco?
End the Pasco
End
Fiasco.
the Pasco Fiasco.
You're saying I should have copyrighted it?
I'm saying they must listen to the podcast.
Oh, well, there you go. It's a nice rhyming.
It's the best
It's
since Oust
pretty-
Oust.
Yeah.
And it's pretty true, too.
And then...
Down with Brown.
And then, yes,
Yeah. Slice price.
Slice Price.
Yeah.
Fail Mary.
Yeah.
Hook, that's a bit boring.
Yeah.
I put one up about Flano the other day, like when they announced, like on Twitter saying, and people got narky. I was like, I was just taking the piss, mate. Like, honestly.
I started to chant.
People
it for
narky
another-
on Twitter, really?
I was just having a bit of fun with the Slice Price, House to House, Fail Mary. But yeah, so within a couple of minutes, that banner was gone, Buzz.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, thanks for reading.
Censored.
How? Security?
Security, apparently.
Wow. That's not good, is it? You pay your money, you hold a banner up, as long as it's not offensive or,
Yeah.
or
I
foul
think
language.
It was covering advertising,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
maybe
was it? Well,
if
that's fair enough.
they said, it would have been interesting if they said, well, there's lots of empty seats, I'll just put it up there. And that would have been interesting. But
Yeah.
anyway, I thought of you, Buzz.
Did you? Thank
Yeah.
Did
you.
you say you started a chant at Cronulla?
Yeah, when Flano had been stood down by the club over some issue, just about 8 years ago, I was sitting in my member seats there, and we were getting hammered. I forget it was assist, So
Who
we
was
started
coaching?
a big.
Peter Sharp would have been.
I put my head down so no one could see, and then started. Bring back Flano. He sprung me Kenty.
How?
He was there covering the game, press seats, and give me up, yeah.
Okay.
But it went all around the frigging ground. It did.
Is that one of your great moments, is it?
It is,
You finally got him back.
yeah.
Not at the Sharkies, though.
I was holding a banner there for a while. I promise you.
Saying what?
Bring back Flano.
That would be
What?
great.
What, you've
footage.
never taken a banner to the football? You know you have.
We did when we were young, when
You would have had to take one of those
What?
old bedsheet.
when
ones.
St George were going to merge with the Roosters in '95. That caused a kerfuffle.
Did it?
And there
Well,
was,
what'd your banner say?
I think it was like Save Our Saints or something. I don't
Oh,
know. I was
how
like,
good, SOS.
I was like
So-
9 or something. Obviously, like I was forced to carry it.
oh, were you?
Yes. They walked
Yeah.
around with a coffin that day at Cogger Oval.
Did they?
I saw Skull and I was like, I'm scared of this bloke.
So we've gone from the South Special Investigation to saving Flano,
Saving the
Oust,
Dragons,
Slice Price,
Saving
and
Saints.
Coffin at
SOS.
Cogger.
The Lockie Elise of the podcast world. I can't keep a straight
Can
line
I-
with you guys. Come on.
Look, I know you do performance reviews, but I might reverse review you
Reverse review.
and talk to you about hosting and keeping the topic on track.
You started it. You've started all
How
this.
did I start?
Like you were saying, one day I started a Flano chant.
brought
I
up
held
the-
a banner.
You brought up
Did you hold a banner?
the Fiasco Fasco.
You did. You said Pasco Fiasco, and then I was like, oh yes. Remember?
Oh, dear.
Why do you
me.
bother-
Even that
what-
bloody barbecue. They're calling them
What's
the
wrong
Weber
with the
Tigers
barbecue?
now.
What's wrong with the barbecue?
Hey,
People are so offended that
What
you
is
got
wrong
a
with the
barbecue.
barbecue?
mate, it was-
It's a practical gift. Well, maybe you needed one. Maybe you wanted one.
Can we get Luke Brooks for the column? for
Like,
Sport
who
Confidential?
cares that they gave him a barbecue? Firstly, the guy's been on $1 million for the last few years, right? So, hello.
He can afford
He
it.
should be giving the club a gift. and secondly, it's a thoughtful present. What did you want him to get?
What a talker! What a talker! Every time, if you're a mate of Brooks's, you're over there for a barbecue, mate. Get out the
Can
get
I
out the
go to
farewell
the
barbecue.
bathroom while you two carry on with this nonsense?
What are you going to
You
get?
said the
This
barbecue.
is the big-
What are you
biggest-
going to get for your... How many years are you up, Buzz?
Sorry?
How many years are you up?
48?
40. What do you get for 50 here?
I have no idea.
Air fryer.
with some salmon.
Eh?
Complimentary salmon.
I cooked a beautiful piece of barramundi last night. Jeez, it was a good piece of fish.
Can I ask you a question? You worry about the gibber, and then you're telling us about your barramundi.
Well, you reminded me. I put some Greek olive oil on it with some chili
Greek.
and some garlic and some lemon.
It sounds like a ready.
Mate, it was outstanding piece of fish.
Nice.
Is Reedy feeding information to you? Have you got an earpiece in or
And
something?
Brussels sprouts and zucchini with it.
I went to the fight last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good fight.
It was a good fight.
What do you think?
Yes, all right, yeah.
Jack Brubaker. My goodness, he copped some punishment.
I think the more I watch other sports, the more I just like rugby league. That was actually an entertaining fight, though. I'll give it that. Some of the undercards.
Did you pay for your tickets?
Yeah.
Did you? Did you pay? Oh. You had to do that when you work for the government broadcast. You do.
Yeah,
you got to declare.
Yeah. All
I can't wait to see your melon on Media Watch next week. Sorry, we should talk footage.
Okay, the bizarreness of this presser, we can't call it Redfern anymore. It's Heffron Park, baby.
Everyone made it clear.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you the question. Well, it was asked of Blake Solly that Jason Dimitri has agreed a deal. Will he be there long term? He said, and he goes, yes. He's agreed he'll be there for 3 more years. We've known deal's been done for a little while. Why have the club not announced it?
Well, they probably thought Pasco Fiasco took the wind out of their sails with the John Morris announcement and wanted some clear air.
I've got something in the column somewhere about that.
Do you?
Mobsy.
Share it now.
Share it now. So I spoke to South about it yesterday, and this is their reasoning. You can agree or disagree. So it's done 3 years. We all know that, right? We're well aware that Jason Demetrio has recommitted for another couple of seasons. What they want to do is get the whole coaching staff in order and announce it as one package. So Ben Hornby, we had that in the column last week, done 2 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, Josh Morris is leaving. John Morris is leaving. So they need to find a replacement. The 2 names I've heard is David Furner, who's at the West Tigers at the moment, still got a contract there.
And has been at South previously.
He had a stint with Robbie Farah, didn't he? They told me he got very, very nasty.
Who'd win that fight, you reckon?
Mate, Furner would kill him. Furner, every rugby league player, if I was to do a top 10 people who could fight in the last week, Fernsey'd be in the top 3.
Can I tell you a story about Dave Furner?
Can you cut that up and tag Robbie in?
So we were in...
Oh, you know he'd kill him. You know he would.
Well, no comment.
Why?
Robbie would kill you.
Of course he would. Mate, I've never won a sting. Never.
What about your sting with Hadley?
Oh, I won that.
Let's go to the video.
Yes, Adam.
No, this is a funny story. Dave Furner,
we're overdue for something funny.
Dave Furner was an assistant with the Tonga camp for the 2017 World Cup, and at training before their first game up in Cairns, he invited journos to step in with him and spar with him for 90 seconds or 3 minutes, whatever it was. Christian Nicolucci, our friend who used to work here, is now over at the other side, decided to step in, and he basically said to Fernsey, please don't hit me in the moneymaker, referring to the face. And Fernsey spent the next 3 minutes tagging Christian on the shoulders and arms. Christian couldn't lift his arms up for about 2 days afterwards. They were black and blue. I tell you what, he was so quick and hit so hard, Fernsey.
I tell you, I wish Matt Rose and No Limit were around when he'd beat Gal.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal fighter, legendary stuff.
There you go.
And I'm off with him at the moment too, because I did a piece of my column last week. His poor wife, she picked up $1.5 million payout from slipping over and open, and she hasn't been the same since, but he was dirty. I put it in the paper. It was in the Newcastle Herald, it was just... Anyway, yeah. He's had a lot of jobs, Fernsey, hasn't he? Michael?
He's had a few. He's bounced around.
Who are you trying to protect here, Robbie or Fernsey? I can't work it out, or both.
Neither. I'm trying to protect you from getting belted.
Right.
Righto. What do you think Back to this press conference.
Back to the press conference.
Mate, next time you say press conference, I'm going to walk, all right? I'm going to leave this podcast.
Wouldn't be the first time you've walked out on me.
Oh, drama.
What, over editorial interference?
Drama.
We had a
Chain of
very
command.
robust debate that night, but anyway.
What about one of my other favourite topics, Parramatta? They play the Panthers on Thursday night. They could go from grand finalist to having the earliest Mad Monday of any club because they've got the bye next week. They could be on Mad Monday before the season finishes.
Oh, they will be. Oh, they will be.
They can't win tonight, Mick, can they?
Even if they can, they're not making the
Tell you
eight.
what, there's no pressure on them tonight, so they might just open up, have a bit of fun, free-flowing footy. Penrith, Edwards out. Who else is out at Penrith?
Taruva is not playing.
Yeah. Can't see it happening, guys. Penrith are pros, aren't they? They're not going to turn off.
No. And isn't Ivan Cleary very specific with how he rests his players? Just a couple at a time.
Yeah, it's different. It's different this year. Like,
we've got Buzzy tapping on his
Buzzy.
fingers
Sorry.
again. Oh.
nervous energy.
Sorry.
We're talking footy. He's not comfortable.
I look at this. Well,
Are you listening?
no, I look at
Okay,
this Penrith side. I want to give Ivan Cleary a rap because you look at players who didn't really aim up or lower rank salary cap players like Peachy, like Zach Hosking, like
Sorensen's the best example.
yeah, well, like Sorensen, like Garner at the West Tigers. There's more, isn't there? Jamin Salmon.
Jack Cogger.
He's good.
Oh,
Why
mate.
don't we talk about him? If he wins a comp this year, is he a super coach?
Well, mate, we keep talking about all his assistants being these super
Yeah.
coaches. What about the bloke
I know,
that's
he doesn't get
held
enough.
it all
he
together?
doesn't get enough respect.
Oh,
Ivan.
unbelievable. Oh, it's the junior nursery. Oh, it's the assistant.
Yeah, there's always it's always
someone else gets the credit. He's done a remarkable job.
And the thing with Penrith, I reckon they're up and play closer to 100% more often than any other side.
Yeah.
You know, we have off days and all footy clubs go through slumps.
And you would have thought there would have been more of that this year, Buzz, because their depth got eroded a little bit, but it hasn't been the case.
Because not only are they picking off the Coruscaws and the Kickouts, but they're now targeting the next generation. Jermaine Hopgood at Parramatta now, Isaiah Qatar up at the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So they're under attack from all levels, but they just keep producing. And tonight, Thursday night, will be the first Thursday night sellout in rugby league. The Panthers 22,000
Is that
sellout.
right?
Yeah, and they're on track to set a record attendance for the season. 18,500 thereabouts.
I
which is-
love the Matildas. I'm so glad the FIFA World Cup's over
Same.
because we're selling out venues, as you're saying. And next week, South East. I think there's more interest.
What about
from
that?
what's happening at South.
And at a core, that'll be huge.
50,000, Mick.
Yep.
Get there early, brother. P1, ring Arthur. P1.
Can you get us a box, Buzzy?
I got P1 for England, Australia.
Did you?
Yeah, the
Did
semi-final.
you pay for it?
I didn't pay for the parking pass, no. And I was a guest of Seven Communications, and I had to speak at their dinner beforehand
Did you? About soccer?
as a reward.
About
About
soccer?
sport in general. Bumps and bruises from 48 years of journalism. Feuds. Saints, sinners, shushes, spotted.
Oh, nice.
So from Sam Kerr to Sam Walker, what do you make of
Meanwhile,
his
that
return?
press conference yesterday.
That's what the episode's title should be called, That Press Conference.
Press conference.
which we haven't even discussed. We've done everything except the press conference.
We'll get back to it next week.
Yeah.
Monday show. That's why they didn't have a Monday show, Buzzy. There was drama.
Yeah, I would have come in from the show. I would have come off the bench.
Nice.
You're off Mondays, aren't you?
It's hard for me on Mondays now. I'm on daddy duties. Exclusively.
We'd probably get more sense out of your
Don't
daughter.
do a
than-
Mitchell Moses and say you haven't changed the nappy. See, he's in all sorts. Do you want to read that
Well,
story?
you said he's changed one nappy or something. I changed.
Gibber got on to Triple. Even you don't change him, you don't tell the big...
Ooh.
No.
How do you get away with that?
I don't know. Well, you know he had the best leave pass of all
Yeah.
time, didn't he? Because he went to
Yeah.
Vegas for Teddy's
Wasn't there for the
Bucks
birth.
as well. Yeah.
I'd Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh,
Didn't go down well with the punters and the female audience, that's for sure.
yeah, I've definitely changed plenty of nappies.
Me too.
Anyway, what are we talking about?
I don't know. We've lost total track.
Why do you give us a run?
This is the biggest jibathon I've ever been involved in, Michael.
What do you want to talk about, Buzzy?
Sharks?
Sharks! They're back, baby.
Hell, aren't
What
they?
a game that is.
Speaking about another coach who deserves some credit, because they looked out of ideas a month ago, the Sharks, Buzz. And Craig Fitzgibbon's done a remarkable job. And you're right, Mick, what a game, because these are the types of fixtures that are 4-point games, aren't they? Given how close that bottom half of the top 8 is.
Tell you, I'm really happy for Wade Graham.
Yeah.
Michael, I thought he was a 1 year too many player this year, and I couldn't understand why we put him in the cap. I now know why. And Fitzgibbon was right again. There's not a lot Fitzy does that's, bring in Trendle, beautiful timing. Tough day up there, old boys' day.
And it's been handy considering Teague Wilton's injury as well, because that could have been a massive hole for the Sharks. But since he, I think, came to terms that this was going to be his last year, he seemed to have rejuvenated himself a little bit, Wade. So even putting left-footed grubbers on last week.
Yeah.
Like his kicking game was back and all this sort of stuff. So
Nico's playing strong again.
But also
Tracy out the back.
Wade Graham's leadership as well. You look at clubs like South at the moment where, if you go back to that press conference... No, never mind. We'll move on. It's getting tired.
Sorry, I was nodding off as soon as I heard it. Finucane's been out too, so you're right about his leadership.
Yeah, and there's clubs like that you wonder, are they keeping a guy like him too long? Jared Brea-Hargraves going along again next year, but the leadership that they show means that you need those kind of guys at the club, and he's obviously, it's turned out to be a masterstroke because
and he's not hurting the cap.
No,
this year he's not on much money. So
Tommy Hazelton, what a player, Mickey.
Hasn't he? Like, say, my criticism of Cronulla has probably been their bench a little bit, and their middles particular were all same. Like, there was a lot of guys, a lot of forwards that were pretty similar, but Hamlin-Ueli's come back from injury and has been outstanding.
Yeah.
Right? Rudolph now is playing some games. And then you've got Hazelton, who's what a
Tell
find.
you something about Hamlin-Ueli. If he had Adam Fanua-Blake's jersey on was in the Warriors pack, you wouldn't notice a big difference. Mick, fair comment?
Fanua-Blake's having a great
Fanua-Blake's...
Yeah, so is this guy.
I get the premise. I think he's still a tier or two down Fanua-Blake, but he's having an outstanding second half of the year.
Love him.
And coming up against Kalen Ponga, what about this night side? Wow, just impressive across the park.
What about the back five? Ponga, Young, Gagai, Best, Marzu. Then you go to the halves and it sort of stops a little bit there because they're not world class. Gamble, Hastings. Then you get to the four. Have a look at their pack, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Wayne Bennett, what year did he take him to a game from the grand final? Remember that game, Bedsy's last game? Was carried off? How long ago was that?
They went to Melbourne, beat Melbourne, and then
come up to Arlington.
Lost to the Roosters.
But this is a side that could repeat that.
Yeah.
It would be a remarkable effort if they're...
Name your best player in rugby league now.
The most informed player is Kalen Ponga.
Thank you.
Not the best player. Like, I'd still say Nathan and stuff, but the most informed player at the moment is Kalen Ponga. Closely followed by Reece Walsh.
Yep, I'm happy with that. And I like that. I like that terminology, the most informed player, because like horses, you can only back the ones you think you're going to win. And the way Kalen Ponga...
He can't win the Dally M though, can he?
No,
he's too far back.
He's on 6 points.
And the guys ahead of him, Sean Johnson and Payne Haas, have been good.
Yeah.
Like, they've been picking up points.
How many points would Ponga have got the last 7 weeks?
6.
Lots.
You get 6 now.
Not 42, but he'd get mid-30s, I reckon.
But I think the other guys still...
Yeah, Johnson will win it.
And Haasmith will pick up points.
This isn't a tipping service, but Johnson's a good thing.
What about the step? What about the move he put on Campbell Graham, who's a good defender? That left foot step.
Yeah, we need to talk about Campbell Graham because he's copped so much flack. They tell me his sternum injury is so bad after games he struggles to breathe.
Yeah.
And he is as tough as any player in this game. Someone else would be out for 6 weeks. I'd
have a week off work in this job with a sternum injury, let alone rugby league.
No, so I can't blame him. And look, as that video, that incredible video on 360 on Monday night showed, Trell wasn't much of a help coming across and running into spaces. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you
You're
make of...
so quiet today.
Yeah, Mick, fire up.
Whenever
Whenever
we come in to a situation where we really need a strong opinion, you just turn off.
I'll just let you run with it.
Yeah, I know. They won't talk to me on the sideline, the ABC. Better be nice.
We know there's only one, and he who should not be named. But
Latrell Mitchell brushes most weeks.
Does he?
Yeah.
Right.
Not just me.
Oh, he's just not on Mick's list? So he's just on a general list?
I think he's on a... No, I don't think he's on... I don't think...
But that'd be a mood thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
How are we going for time?
Yeah, I think we've got... Oh, actually, we might have to move on to Mick's questions. I didn't print
You
those
didn't print
out.
them, so I've just got them.
We lost power in our block of computers this morning.
Did
so,
you? Is that why there was some movement?
Oh, it was drama.
So...
Don't want to even get in here.
I saw the works manager up here, Brian Moses. I think he's a Sparky. Didn't have a clue.
Did you tip him?
Hey?
Did you tip him?
I don't claim to be a Sparky, mate.
All right. Chris wants to know, for the next expansion team, should the NRL do a draft to avoid the player market being so locked up as it's been since the Dolphins entered?
It's a very good point, because the second part of it is he's absolutely right. I've never seen the player market the way it is, and so if you're going to do another round of expansion soon, which we think they are, there's going to have to be some allowances made. And I know they did it in the NBA years ago when Toronto...
Did in the AFL too, didn't they? Or was that for running last?
Mm.
I don't know. I've got second thoughts about expansion, Mick, unless there's something there to help the new clubs. Because Wayne Bennett, unless he's running it, he's a magnet. Sully's good and he can track players and a good eye. But I don't see where a new club's going to get players from, Michael.
I don't think there's enough talent.
Neither do I.
I think there's enough talent with time. You set up pathways.
Oh, well, so we'll put up with 10 years of blowouts.
Yeah, but this guy's on the WA pay. You know,
is
talking
he?
about the national broadcast.
Yeah.
The WA government's probably...
When's your next Newtown Perth Jet story going to be?
What about PNG?
You've let it go for 2 weeks.
I had a yarn on Sunday.
Did you?
So RJ wants to know, if South miss the top 8 this year and get off to a poor start in 24, will Jason Demetrio be under pressure to keep his job? Could he be sacked?
I reckon when we open the market next year for first coach sacked, he'll be in the market.
Who do you have on the list?
Oh, look, mate, you're asking me. Well, look, I'll go through them. Fitzy's safe. Adam O'Brien will be safe. Maybe there'll be pressure on Seabold. There'll be pressure on Cameron Serraldo. Ricky will be fine. Walters will be fine. Benji, he'll be safe. Robbo will be sweet. Des will be sweet. Bellamy is going. Peyton will be sweet, won't he? Bennett's going. Flano will be sweet. Webster's there for life. Cleary and... I'll tell you, Brad Arthur.
Agreed.
So Brad Arthur and Demetrio, gentlemen.
Needs a good year. They both do, don't they?
Yeah.
Matthew Maxwell. Manly recruitment and retention. Parker, Blimore and Woods have been mainstays for first grade this season but appear to be unsigned. Meanwhile, others such as Condon and Zach Fulton who are signed past this season but are not featuring
great.
in first grade. Who stays, who goes?
I'll leave that. I'm not up with those Manly boys.
Well, I think they have tried or given permission for Condon and Fulton to potentially look elsewhere, but there might not be anything forthcoming. Parker will stay.
They need to find Schuster's 800.
Parker will stay. Bullimore will stay. Woods, I'd expect to potentially stay. But, you know, they need to move on a couple of blokes. They don't have any roster spots.
They're not helping you win a comp, though, are they?
No, Bullimore's been decent. So,
Yeah,
Brad
well,
Parker's
Bullimore's
decent. They
good leg
provide.
speed. When we talk about great recruitment, Blunders and Reynolds, I'd throw Schuster into that too.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you what, whoever got him the 800, doing very well.
Should have had a balaclava on.
Connor wants to know, with how good the Knights have been lately, could they go all the way next year?
So what worries me about the Knights is their recruitment last year, their decision to bring Lockie Miller in. He wasn't on a lot of money, but he's gone. They've lost a young guy in Max Bradbury who went in the swap down to Cronulla. So,
Can he play? I haven't seen a lot of him.
well, there was a lot of people complaining to Barry Toohey at the time, the great Newcastle journo, on about you losing such a good young junior. So,
If he does make it, that will go. You're talking about blunders, Buzz. That will go down as one of the all-time greats.
Right.
If he turns into a really good first grader,
Max.
Max Bradbury, the fact that they let Lockie,
They sacrificed
him for Lockie Miller, who played 10 games, if that, you know, and now he's off to Leeds, and they got a chip in for him to go.
But he has had a blunder then. If he wasn't good enough to make it at the Knights, didn't Cronulla? Oh, you're talking about...
Not from Cronulla's point of view.
Yeah, right.
It's a masterstroke from Cronulla.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about from Newcastle's point of view.
yeah.
Next.
Concerns.
Oh, sorry, mate. We got some emails. So you threw out my email address last week.
I
And
sign you up to a lot of things without you knowing.
no, they're all very pleasant. We had some really good emails. So a few international ones as well.
Really?
Which
What
was
countries?
Nice.
So am I a global brand now?
Yeah.
Am
a couple from New Zealand, and we had one from Zurich, I think it was,
Wow.
in Switzerland.
Wow. Geez,
So
I'm taking you boys on a ride. International.
we're gone worldwide. Now I've just lost the podcast questions.
You're an idiot. Seriously. You've lost
I've got it. Well, Mobbsy usually prints them. So Dr. J wants to know, given Benji's relationship with Wayne Bennett, any chance of Wayne taking a head of football role at the Tigers in 25?
No.
No?
Wayne wants to coach. New franchise.
New franchise.
Yeah.
There you go. I think there's some chance that there's a role there for Wayne if he wants one. Or there would be a role there for Wayne
He
if
won't
he wants
leave
one.
Brisbane.
Well, you can do that from... It doesn't have to be a head of football, but it could be a
Yeah. Head
some sort of
consultant.
role.
Yeah.
Terry, this is our man from Zurich. This is on you,
I
Buzz.
like this one.
I've always wanted to know why Buzz is a Sharks fan when he grew up in Newcastle. Where is the loyalty? Speaking from experience, I'm a Tigers fan, but as soon as the Warriors came in 95, I had to switch to the Warriors as a loyal Kiwi. And why does Buzz hate Newcastle?
I do not hate Newcastle. I left Newcastle in 1975. At the time, the Knights had never been heard of. I used to watch the West Rosellas, Maitland Pumpkin Pickers, Lakes United, all that, right? So there wasn't a team there to support. First grand final I covered was 1978. I fell in love with the Sharks. I've been a member since back then.
Sounds like you hate Newcastle to me.
I love Newcastle. 29,000 people at that ground. And you know what? They're real rugby league people. There's no toffs up there. They are dead set. Just, what's the word I'm looking for? They are so soul of the earth.
Yeah, they're passionate.
I sat outside one day. They played East. And I couldn't find a seat anywhere, and I saw a spare one amongst all their members, and I had a miner one side of me, I had a tradie the other. They were just so normal. And the way they get into they were, mate.
What does that mean?
Well, do you know what I mean? They're just white collar. Is that the right word? Or,
Yep.
you know, just
Blue collar.
Blue collar.
Blue collar. Sorry, blue collar. Hard-working, you know, people.
Yeah. I went
White
to the...
collar. I was looking at your shirt and I think I can't say blue again.
I was at the stadium when Billy Harrigan, remember when he sin-binned 4 Eels in the one game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I was there with Aaron Wallace from the great statistician at Fox Sports Stats, and we're sitting there in the crowd, and Parramatta were playing 13 against 10 at one point, and Parramatta were holding their line. They got back to 11, and Newcastle put on a couple of tries and started beating the Eels. I was there with my Eels jersey on. These 2 girls would have been no more than 14 or 15, started giving it to me.
Did they?
Foul tirade at me.
Yeah,
And
wow.
I couldn't say anything. We're losing. So I just turned around and said, what, are your parents here?
Are your
And
parents here?
the mother stood up from behind and said, yes, I am. And she started giving it to me
How
too.
long ago was this?
2001, 2002,
Was it?
2002. 2002.
What were you doing back then?
Was it uni?
Canberra Times, right?
Yeah, no, still at uni back then. So
Yeah, right. Did you
but
do
yeah.
media communications?
I did, yes. Aaron Wallace
Masters,
and I.
honours, or just
No,
a
just
nice pass?
Just a bachelor. Just a bachelor.
This
So-
is so interesting.
Last-
Your education.
Last one.
Oh, thank God.
Stuart's from the UK, and he's a big fan of the podcast. The one thing
UK.
that sticks in my craw is the draw and how it adversely impacts certain teams. One of the strengths of the English Premier League, for example, is that every team plays each other home and away every season,
Yeah.
making the final a fair reflection. For example, I look at Parramatta's this year. This is for you, Mobbsy. And they've had a ridiculously hard start. As the expansion of the competition, should the NRL aim to make it a fairer fixture list and more equitable to all teams?
Of course they should. And that's not coming from a Parramatta fan, but when you're playing teams 6 weeks apart, the same team 6 weeks apart, you're having 2 buys before Parramatta has 1. It just...
You can never do it unless you just play everyone once.
I have the best country rugby league story in my column this week about...
Didn't like that question, did you, Buzz?
No, sorry. about lack of draw integrity. So Group 9, right? Gundagai, defending premiers, they had to redo the draw because the team pulled out at the beginning of the year. They've lost Tumbarumba, they've lost Batlow, they've lost one of the Wagga sides. June Eve was out for a while. And it's really in a pile of shit, their comp. So anyway... You know what they did? Some teams got 2 buys and some teams got 4 buys.
4 buys?
So Gundagai finished 6th on the ladder, right? Missed out on the top 5. The 5th place team, Albury Thunder, right, had 2 more buys than them. And they finished level. They finished level and got beat on for and against. And you're bagging me for taking that question first. How dare you? That's the best part. Cut that up. Put that on your bloody whatever.
TikTok or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
What are the kids on?
Can you believe that, though?
That's unbelievable. What's the response been from officials on that?
Oh, they're filthy.
Oh, dear me.
See, this New South Wales Rugby League, I know it's a Group 9, but they're in charge of all this.
4 buys.
Too worried about their bloody corporate suites at Suncorp without running a proper...
How do you fix the NRL,
that was
though?
good content. That made this podcast.
You can't. How do you fix the NRL, Buzz? You can't.
You can't play each other twice. The season's too long. So you play each other once. You have a proper origin windows.
I think, Mick, if we go to 20 teams, which Peter V'landys seems to want to do, we've got to have...
There'll be conferences.
Yeah, so do you play each other twice and then...
You play a conference twice and the other teams once, potentially.
I don't know.
That's not fair. The only way it's fair is if you play everyone twice or you play everyone once. That's
well, if you have 20 teams, you could play each other once. The season would be long enough without buys.
Potentially.
And then you do more rep footy at the end of the year.
That is one option.
Yeah.
Whether that's enough content for the broadcasters, I'm not sure.
That's the
Have we got
issue.
time for dinner?
We've always got time, Buzzy. What are you doing?
Jungle chicken curry. What I did, I found the way to
just
order...
cut last week's one and throw it in this week. Do we really
paste.
need to do that?
Bangkok Bites in the Cronulla Mall.
Do they know you there?
Secret? No, they don't. The secret is when I ordered online, it's got a little comment placed with your dish.
Yeah.
I added extra veggies last week, and in the comments I put extra hot. I finally got the jungle chicken curry I've been looking for.
Sweating?
Really?
I sweat it up, yes.
Can't you just add chili if it's not at home?
Sorry?
Can't you just add chili if
It's not the same, you goose. You stick to your Greek taco, and I'll worry.
My Greek taco?
Taco
Oh.
food.
You said taco.
I heard taco.
What
Greek
did you have
taco.
last week again? It was something
It
ridiculous.
was anyway, tonight we're having actually a Greek dish tonight.
Oh, you're not working for the national broadcast? Good.
Good. Why good?
I don't know. So what are you having? What's your Greek?
It's fish soup basically.
Fish soup. You know what I'm
Is that
going to
all
do?
soup
I got
it's
some
called?
time off at the end of the year, extended leave, and I'm going to learn to make seafood chowder. I just want to make it, yeah. Fish soup.
Yeah, it's nice. Clara does a good job on it. That's my
Wow.
mum's recipe, it's someone's in the
Can
family.
you please send a photo?
Yeah.
You put barramundi in, or
I'm not sure what she does.
could you find out?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Oh,
Adam,
don't know what we're doing for dinner
Greek
tonight.
tacos.
is
Greek
your wife
tacos.
home? Can we start off with your marital situation?
Well, we actually had an impromptu date night last
Did
night.
you? Where'd you go?
Oh, what's going on here?
We
Went to the box in.
I was on in the background actually. No, we had to drop our daughter off at. She had something on last night. We just caught up and had a couple of schnitzels at the Peachtree there in Penrith, and
Yeah. What'd you wash it down with?
I had a Great Northern Super Crisp and she had a glass of Chardonnay. So
There you go.
Normally, after a time of separation with your wife, and I know you're rock solid there, and it had to happen, mate.
Had to happen.
But mate, do better than Snitties.
Oh.
her choice.
Go somewhere nice.
What's wrong with their schnitty?
Go somewhere nice.
You're just saying how down to earth the Newcastle people
Yeah.
are.
The
What
whole-
about you?
The
I'm going. I'll see you
highlight
later.
of her
I've
night
had
was
enough.
me, all right? Don't worry about the food.
Yeah.
Righto, thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll be back Monday. It was sickness and leave and everything else.
Angry crawls.
Angry Crawls is back Monday.